Hey Naomi, you're having some trouble with your 2-year-old, getting them desensitized, and you're saying it's taking longer and you're doing things over and over again. And that can be frustrating because you say, geez, horse, I showed you this yesterday. How come you haven't gotten better about it? And you worked quite a bit. What you're going to find is that when you start working your horse, say when you're flagging him, is it might take, say, the first day that you work them, it might take half an hour. Heck, it might take an hour. It takes as long as it takes to where you can get your horse to kind of let down enough that there's an opportunity to call it good. So there's a change made in the right direction. What is generally going to happen on those real sensitive horses is when you step back in there and present the same object that they're scared of, the flag or whatever that might be, that you're desensitizing them to, they're going to act like they've never seen it again, and it seems like you're starting from scratch. But you'll probably realize, if you pay attention, that it's going to take you less time to get them to that spot where they're relaxed about it than it did before. So although every time you introduce a scary object to them, they're going to act like they've never seen it again and they're bothered, it's going to take less time to get them to where they can live with it. So there's no quick answer on this about a horse that takes a long time to get good about it. You're on horse time. You're going to take as long as it takes. So part of your ritual or whatever when you ride, you brush them off, you pick their feet, saddle them up, do whatever you do. You should have where it's going to be flag work. Now, sometimes people's idea of flag work is a little bit different. Their only deal on it is to desensitize the horse to them. So that would be where they could take that flag and they could rub them all over his body, and it might be a tarp, and it might be a bag of something crinkly and scary, whatever, and you'd be rubbing it all over your horse, and you'd get them to where they could live with it. They could stand, and well, that's half the job. That's the desensitizing to it. The other half of the deal is you got to sensitize them to it. So I use tarps and I use bags, and I use a flag more than probably either of the other two. But I want my horse to where I can take that flag and I can shake it, and I can make pretty good fuss about it, and it doesn't bother my horse. But in order to get him there, I'd have to desensitize him to where I might take that flag and I might just rub him all over and show him, you know what? This will not hurt you. And just because he'll stand there and be good about it doesn't mean when I pull it out tomorrow he's going to be good about it. I have to start over again. But once I've got him to where they can wear it and I can put it anywhere I want, I might pick it up and I might shake it a little bit, get some life to it. And I would expect him to move off. Now the answer is he's moving off that I'd be looking for, if I am desensitizing him to it, would be to get his feet stopped. Now this is where it gets a little bit hard for people to understand, because the difference between the desensitizing it and the sensitizing it, your horse, to your object, has got nothing to do with the object that you're using. It's you. So if I'm standing in a real relaxed manner and rubbing that flag all over my horse, I want him to read my body language. I'm being calm, I'm being relaxed, and I'm not going anywhere. So I want him to feel of that, and that flag is just life around me, and what he's doing is he's looking to me for direction, and I'm not going anywhere, and I'm relaxed, so he doesn't think he needs to go anywhere, and he gets relaxed. Then if I was to change that flag to where maybe I would bring up some life and I would ask him, the answer would be for him to maybe move away from that flag. What would change, the flag itself didn't change, it's still a flag. What he's going to do is he's going to look to me for direction to where I'm going to offer him, say, I offer him the left, where I'd bring up some life and I'd send him to the left. To where I want him to understand that the thing that never changes when things bother him is that if he looks to me for direction and he stays with me, I can keep him safe. So what I could do then is, if I was asking him where I brought up some little bit of life and I wanted him to move, when he would move off, I'd make it feel good to him. I might take that flag and rub it on him softly to where he would be comfortable with it. And then what I might do is I might roll his hindquarters out, and we've got videos on the groundwork on how to disengage the hindquarters, and you might already know how to do that. But when I'm picking up on my lead, you said that you're banging him on the face. Well, that wouldn't be appropriate.
Giving him a pop with the end of the halter, she said.
Yeah, a pop with the end of your halter. Why would you think that would make him understand something that he's struggling with? You know, and I see it all the time, so you're not the only one that does that. You're reprimanding him, and actually your reprimand has nothing really to do with what you're asking. You're asking him to relax and not be bothered by it. So once I had him to where I could rub him all over with that flag, that's the desensitizing him. I don't want him to go anywhere. I'd get it to where, with my body language and everything, I might bring up a little energy in my body language, and that energy would flow through my hand at the end of the flag, where there might be a little bit of energy where he understand that he would move off. When I could get him moving around, I'd direct his hindquarters always away from me, bring his front end through, and then if I wanted him to stop, and that relaxation that you're looking for him to get, I would offer it to him, and then that I would relax. I might bring that flag down, and I would round my shoulders out, step in front of his drive line a little bit, and I would get relaxed, where I would be offering him that feel. You'd be amazed at how quickly they'll pick up on it. Now, in saying that too, is more often than not, the horse will understand that quicker than the human will when you're offering the desensitizing and the sensitizing it to him with a flag or whatever you're using. But you have to remember that horses, you and I communicate verbally, and we have a lot of other means too, but verbally is probably our main way that we communicate. Horses communicate by feel. So if you can apply pressure by bringing up energy in your body, he feels that. And he'll understand how to direct it on the end of your halter rope. You can use that energy that you've offered him, and he's taking you up on it, to get motion and get changes. And you also want him to understand that when you bring that energy down to where you might step in front of that drive line and soften and round out your shoulders and get soft, that he comes down to you. It's tough to explain to someone maybe that hasn't seen it happen how this all works, but if you're interested in more of that, you can contact me. I've got some videos that you can watch that can help you with, but it's really important in order for that horse to read what you're offering and the feel that you're offering, because that's the world those horses live in. They live in feel. So the better you get at that, the more the horse will be on the same page as you. And when you're working them on flag and everything, getting them desensitized to it is just half of it. They need to be sensitized to have them desensitized. And it takes as long as it takes. I mean, you're stepping into their world when you're dealing with them at that level. And he's telling you, I'm bothered by it. And you need to reassure him that if he hangs in there with you, he can be safe.